This is going to be part 4 of my full companion tutorial series with Naomi Green. And we're going to start with working on the quest. And we're going to want a priority of 45. It doesn't need a quest name because it's just going to be controlling the dialogue. We do want repeatable quest stages, and we're going to need to give it a condition. But to give it a condition, we're going to need the quest alias. So we create a new reference alias to our unique actor. She is essential. And NO Naomi alias. Perfect. So now we can get our get as alias reference. Yes. And this is going to make it so the dialogue is only for Naomi. Okay. And we'll save that. Quest stages we will set up shortly, but we can give it a 0 to start. And this will, when the quest starts, it will run this. And we're going to need it to run this because we're going to have script in here. So when the game first loads up and this ESP, Naomi Green, is recognized and the quest starts, it's going to also run this fragment or stage. And yeah, everything looks good. Now we can start building our scenes. This is going to be first meet scene. And we're going to need a disdain recruitment stage or scene. We're going to need a disdain dismiss scene. We'll need a neutral recruitment scene. And we do this for all of our affinity stages. Oh no, we messed up the name. There we go. Infatuate, dismiss. Romance, recruit. If I could spell. And we're going to need a romance, dismiss. Alright, so we got our quest stages. New actor. Our actor is that. We're going to need to add a phase at the end. New action. Player dialogue. You can just OK this for now. And we're going to need to set up a greeting. which will be greet. Oh, one. Okay, okay. Perfect. Everything's looking good so far. We got all our scenes created, and we have our intro. So we apply this. Okay. File save. And don't kill me. I just met those guys. Period. These guys. There we go. And now we're going to need to set up some conditions for our greeting. Greet condition will there we go. Now this will make sure that only Naomi says this greeting. And we're going to need get stage. Alright, we're going to make the stage is less than 3. So this is going to say when we're first meeting her, this is what she'll say. Okay. And we can give ourselves, okay, and, okay, but you work for me now, period. And fine. Okay. Okay. And we can say never mind, so we have a way to back out. Nor never mind. Nor. And she will say whatever. Alright. Apply. Okay. File save. And let's build a few more quest stages. So we're going to need 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'll be quest stage 1, 2, 3, 4. And you right click new, right click new, right click new. And you don't have to leave designer notes, I just prefer to. Alright, so now alright, just to create the script, we're going to do game.getPlayer. Compile. And when we go over here, now we have our new script. Okay. And we file save. Now we can edit the script and rename the script. I want to rename the script and put it in my Naomi scripts folder. And this will be her main script. Okay. Now we just compile this again and edit the script. Perfect. Alright, so now we can add our properties. Copy, edit script, paste in our properties, everything's still compiling, and something went wrong. Edit script. There we go, we'll put them down here. This way I know it'll work. There we go. Autofill. Nice. And we need a stem pack. And we need Naomi, which is in the Walden Pond. And there she is. Okay. Compile. Okay. File save. Now we can actually start getting into some of our scripting. Copy. Paste. Compile. Once I put all these in here, and we don't get any errors, we'll go back through and go over what they each do. And we have an error. Oh yeah. We don't need the actor reference because she is the actor reference. And stage 4. Alright, everything's working. Now that we got our fragments in, we save, open this up, and what this script here does is, since she's in the Raider faction by default, how we set her up, it's saying set Naomi's flag for bleed out recovery, or no bleed out recovery, to true. That means after we kill her, she will not get up, and this will allow bleed out dialogue. So when she's in the down state, she can still talk to the player. And right here, after we kill her, and talk to her, it's gonna remove her from the raider faction, change her aggressive from very aggressive to just regular aggressive. It's gonna stop combat with the player, and it's gonna add her to the companion factions. Now, if you just want a regular companion without the extra side quests, you can just add her to these factions by default. But since we're doing like a little intro quest, we're going to add them to her later. Because if we added these to her beforehand and just didn't have her in them, the companion faction is actually allied with the player faction, so she still wouldn't attack the player, even if she wasn't currently active in the faction. So we add these to her after we get into the fight. And this one, after we've recruited her and she's all healed up, it sets the no bleed out recovery flag to false. So when she gets downed again, she'll be able to get back up. Same thing with the bleed out dialogue. So it'll just be vanilla again. So she won't be able to talk to you in a bleed out state. And this equips the stim pack so she can heal herself after you've recruited her. So when she goes to get back up, she'll be stim packed. And then part 3 is exit power armor. And this is important because if you want your companion to be able to get in and out of power armor, you're going to need dialogue to tell her, get out of that power armor. So she doesn't just get stuck in there forever. And this one is something cool that I kind of made up that it took me forever to figure out how to do this. And finally, after looking over scripts, we can get Naomi's Green's current affinity by pulling the value from the follower's script and getting this event value, and then showing it to the player as an integer. So this will be show affinity. Now you see why I like naming these, just so I can look here and I can know which script I want to adjust. And everything's working. So we will file, save. And I'm going to build some dialogue for, let's set these up. So they don't get all out of order again. And stain. 02, 03, 04, 05. And we will apply those changes. Okay. Now There we go. We got first meet, dismiss, or recruit, dismiss, recruit, dismiss, recruit, dismiss for all of them. And we're going to need to add her to all of these. And we're going to have to set up greetings for all of them. Alright. Apply. Okay. File save. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up some dialogue and restart the video after the dialogue's set up. Alright, and we're back with some basic dialogue setup. I did a few things off camera. As you can see, I added the Affinity script, added some stages, Affinity condition, and I changed the Affinity message to a notification. So, here's, you go, when you're in your quest, you go to your scripts page, and you add the Affinity script handler. I already added it. And once you add your Affinity script handler, you just autofill, and it'll fill all these properties. And then you just link your quest alias to your companion. Okay. And I added some more quest stages. So we still have our 0, 1, and 2. 0 is the startup quest stage. 1 is where we add our factions. 2 is where we fix some of the things and equip the stim packs so she can heal herself after the intro. 3 is where she exits her power armor, so this is what you're going to need. 4, this is where she'll show her affinity in a notification. So Naomi Green's affinity is, and this pulls the affinity value for Naomi from the follower script, and it shows it as an integer. And this is for completing the romance quest, which I set up a real basic quest so she can complete this. So it sets her as the companion for the actor script in romance success, and this is where we needed the Affinity script handler, so we can call this script and unlock infatuation. And then these are going to be her recruit and dismiss stages for each affinity level. So for recruit, we're going to copy this and just paste it, compile. And for disdain, dismiss, we are going to do the same thing, but for the dismiss. And just so you didn't have to watch me do it all, I already added the other ones. Now we can go into our Scenes tab. And this is where we're going to be connecting all of our quest stages. So, after she says, "Don't kill me, I just met these losers," it will run Quest Stage 1. Quest Stage 1 is where it stops the combat with the player because we're talking to her, and it adds her to the companion factions. And then we can do part 2. And this will set, after we say this, it will run this quest fragment where she heals herself. And this is what she'll say after. We're going to need to set up a greeting. Okay. As you can see, I set up a few other greetings that we'll go through. And we can just say, "What do you want?" And you don't have to set up the animation facial expressions right now, but it's just easier. Fine. Okay. And as you can see, we're also going to need a exit the power armor. So we go into our topic, new. Same thing here. Then these are pretty sensitive, so you need to have them in proper order. So you can just use these arrows to arrange your topics so things line up properly. Apply. And there we go. And she will say, we'll set up more in-depth dialogue later, but just to get some basic dialogue in here. And this is why we added our notes. So we know this is the exit power armor fragment. So after she says, "Fine, take it," she'll get out of the power armor through that script. Same thing here. We're going to set up show affinity. So after she says this, it will show the affinity message. And everything else is looking good. We are going to have to connect dismiss. As well as connect the recruit. And you're probably thinking, why do I need all these quest stages just for recruiting and dismissing? Can't I use the same one for every stage? And the reason we need all these different quest stages is because we're going to be linking them to our affinity. So we're going to need the separate quest stages. And the quest stages also control which scene plays based on the quest stage and the affinity. So this one's all set up with the quest stages. This one's all set up with the quest stages. Now we're going to have to set up our facial expressions. And this is when we first meet her, so she's not going to be very happy with us. We just said, you gotta work for us. So, and there's a wide variety of different types of facial expressions. I just keep it simple. She's mad, she can be irritated. And these really, they affect your player right now, but they really come into play when you're creating your lip gen data, which we'll go over in a later tutorial. Okay, so exit power armor was irritated. Never mind, was irritated. Oops. Neutral. And this was question. Get out of my sight. Irritated. Apply. Fine, take it. She can be irritated. Everybody's pissed off right now. Alright, now we just need to set up. She's worried because she doesn't want to get killed. He's mad. More mad. You can be confident in this one. Switch it up a little bit. And this is a question. Apply. Irritated. Pleading. And she's just kind of explaining things right here, so this can be more neutral. Okay. Oh shit. So now that we have all of our quest stages, facial animation, and all that all set up, we can start connecting things. Oh yeah, another thing you can do is just like oh shoot, we need these conditions. They're very important. If we don't give these conditions, they'll say it. Paste condition. And this is saying if she's wearing the power armor, then you can say this. And this is saying if our quest alias, which is Naomi, is wearing power armor, you can say this. So it will always say this first in your dialogue options if she's wearing power armor. If this condition isn't true, then she will always say this. And you can actually okay. You can actually add more dialogue options, and if you mark them as random, it'll choose either this one or this one if they're both marked random. So when you say this line, sometimes she'll say this and sometimes she'll say nothing. But for simplicity, we're not going to be doing that. Boop. Okay, and we can get rid of this because she only has one dialogue option. Okay, and we'll save that. Now we go to our actor. And we're going to start connecting things, like the dismiss scene. Oh, we did not name our scene, so we're going to have to fix that. But before we leave, we can set up our controlling quest stages. So when she hits this threshold, when she hits 1,000 affinity, it'll set the infatuation rank. And it'll also set this quest as the controlling quest and what stage inside the quest we want it to set, which will be 900. And then it'll show this message. Okay? This will be 700. 500. And 300. Oh shoot, no, 900 is the romance dialogue. So we definitely don't want this is 700. 500. 300. And 100. There we go. And everything's looking good in here. We just need to fix this dismiss scene. Yes. Okay. We'll save that and go back to our quest. And we need to give this a name. There we go. And we're also going to set this up as a loop. So, after she says this, it will repeat this stage. So it's a little loop, so you don't gotta keep, going back and forth through all the dialogue. It'll just re-show up this. Okay? We'll save that. Go back to our actor. And now we should be able to set up the dismiss scene. Well, let's figure out what we messed up. Oh, it's calling the scene, not the phase. Don't even need that. And we named our scenes numbers in front of them. Let's try this one more time. There we go. There's a dismiss scene. That's our first dismiss scene. And now everything's all set up. Her affinity is all set up. Her likes are all set up. All this good stuff's set up. So it's looking good. Okay. And now, having set up her affinity, we need to go to our quest and add one more script. After you complete the quest, you set stage 900. We'll compile that. Okay. We'll save. Alright, now the quest is all set up with the exit power armor option. We have our recruitments, and we have the little things so people can know exactly what our affinities have. Oh, you know what else I forgot? I forgot to add the conditions to our creep so it doesn't just always say this. Alright, everything's looking good. Ooh, I didn't show you her romance quest. So just like the random option, there's a say once option, so she'll say this once and then never again. And this is saying she cannot say this. Well, first off, it's in the infatuation scene, so you have to be 1,000 affinity for this dialogue to populate. And she will not say this unless the player is at our player level has to be greater than 20. Okay. Greater than 20. So once the player is level 21, you'll have this dialogue option show up, and when she's finished saying this, it will complete the romance, and she'll be unlocked with her romance. It will set the stage to 900, and at stage 900, this is what she'll say now. And when you dismiss her, it'll set the stage to 1000. So she'll say this. Okay. We'll save this. And then a couple other things you can do is you can add topics. Like, there's a bunch of different ones you can add. Like, you can make her say things when she's attacking. Favors, you can do the same thing. You know what? I am going to show you guys what I mean exactly. So we'll go into Mary's quest. And this is all her extras. I didn't set up any combat or favors or anything like that. But I did set up player dialogue. You just right click, new, give it a name, and then you can give it keyword events. So, when the player eats a corpse, she'll say something. When dog meat, bleeds out, she'll say something. Drinking alcohol. There's just like a bunch of different options. Like when you guys sleep together. So yeah, that's just a cool little, you can add a bunch of side comments or like when you explore cities and stuff. There's just a crazy amount of stuff you can do in here. But let's hop back into Naomi. And that's it for this tutorial. We got the quest set up and the affinity set up, but I'm just gonna continue looking over the affinity and how it works a little bit more. And hopefully we can all knock this out. Alright. So we all understand that this is what she says when you first meet her. This is what she says when she's at the disdained relationship rank. And she's recruited. After you dismiss her, it sets the quest stage to 200. And if the quest stage is 200, she will say this. And when she's neutral, same thing for all of them, When you dismiss her, it goes to this. When you recruit her, it sets the stage and goes to this. So that's pretty cool. Things you can do there. And we all understand how to set our affinity and then set the stage after we've completed her affinity. So it moves on to the next dialogue. Alright. Companion actor script. We all understand how her likes and dislikes don't work. And we understand that this has to be sorted from best to worst for her affinity. And when she first reaches 1000 affinity and gets this infatuation rank, it is going to set the stage of the controlling quest to 700. And it will show this message, which says you have now, it usually says something like, Naomi now admires you or loves you, that type of thing. And you can set different scenes to play. I'm still new to scenes, so I don't set up my scenes in Affinity, but it is a possibility. You can always look at the vanilla actors and see how their things are set up. You can also set up a custom affinity. And to do that, you would just make your own threshold global variable. And then same thing. You could make this as hate, kinda hate a little bit. I mean, you can literally make this instead of just the 5 thresholds that are in the vanilla game to 100 thresholds if you wanted her to change every 100 affinity instead of every 500. So that's what you can do there after you create your global variable threshold, and then you just set it up the same way with the quest stage. And you don't even have to give it a message if it's a silent threshold marker that it'll just change the dialogue, but you don't want the player to know that something changed. You don't even have to add a message if you don't want to. And yeah, that's how custom affinity works. And then the maximum affinity you can have, you could set this to 10,000 and make your custom affinity stages a little bit more spread out. So if it's a longer playthrough, you can continue discovering things about the companion you created. And then minimum affinity, again, you can set it as high or as low as you want. If you never want her to get angry, you can set it to 0. I think I set mine for Mary Jane to -100, so she'll never hit that disdain mark, but you can have negative affinity with her. And this is pretty cool. I haven't really played with a give player item, but definitely something cool you could look into. Looks like you just create a leveled list, add the items you want the NPC to sometimes give you, change this to true, and test it out. If it doesn't work, I would look for companion give item info script. So let's just look at that. Let's see if we can find something. Yeah, companion give item info script. So there's no properties. So it's looking like, yeah, you just need to add this script to the companion. Add your leveled list of items to give, and change this to true. How perfect. But we're not going to be doing that. I just wanted to go over Affinity and a few things you could do. which is really limitless what you can do. But this is just what I know how to do, and hopefully you guys enjoy.